The Dallas Cowboys are 12-5 this season, and they have a home record of 8-0. This is a team that doesn't lose at home. And this is a franchise that is hungry to get back to the Super Bowl, something they haven't done in 28 years. But really, quite frankly, I think this is just a team that's hoping to put together a string of wins, something they haven't done in the playoffs for the last 20 years. I think this game boils down to coaching. I'll tell you what I mean by that. Before I jump into it, hit that subscribe button. Okay, so when we mention the name Matt LaFleur, especially amongst Packer fans, there's a lot of mixed emotions that come into play. Mainly has to do with, maybe the lack of discipline at times in the locker room, or even perhaps when you mentioning the name Joe Barry. So there's a lot, but say what you want about Matt LaFleur. I think this guy is absolutely brilliant. And as Brian Gutekunst said earlier in the season, right? So he said that Aaron Rodgers was holding Matt LaFleur back, and that we were going to be able to see what Matt LaFleur's offense looked like this season. So we are seeing it. And Matt LaFleur, I think, is really, quite frankly, I think he is an offensive genius when it comes to just working with what he has. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I'm talking about rookies and sophomores. This is a team led by a first-year quarterback in Jordan Love, and you start mentioning the name Tom Clements there, and what Tom Clements and Matt LaFleur were able to do with Jordan Love and continue to do with Jordan Love in his growth. And it's looking more and more like Jordan Love is the quarterback for the future with the Green Bay Packers. This could be another decade of dominance when you start talking Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and now Jordan Love. It is looking more and more like this is going to be dominance in the NFC North by the Green Bay Packers for years to come. So when we mention Matt LaFleur and his postseason record, okay, so Matt LaFleur historically just with the Green Bay Packers hasn't had the best postseason record. His record is 2-3, so he is looking to quote unquote get over the hump. But what does Matt LaFleur have to say just really about getting prepped and ready for the game? Matt, it says right here, it says that I fully believe, he says, that these guys have the mindset of just showing up and continuing to work to try to get a little bit better. Our guys, they know it starts with the work that they put in and the preparation, and it's going to be a big week for us. Okay, so Matt LaFleur, just I love that he is approaching this week just like any other week, because honestly, the Packers have been in that playoff mindset since losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They knew that they had to win out, and they've been quote unquote in playoff mode since then. It says right here, receiver Christian Watson, there's some things up in the air. He's missed 5 straight games with a hamstring injury, and his status moving forward remains in doubt. Receiver Romeo Dobbs, he was taken to the hospital. He's going to be day-to-day in question. Same thing with A.J. Dillon. And then he got tight end Luke Musgrave returning from his 6-game absence. And it says right here, the hope is that he can build upon the workload. He took 9 offensive snaps, it says right here. So they're hoping Luke Musgrave can get a little bit more and more involved. But here's what I absolutely love, and here's Matt LaFleur's approach to the game. And put your money where your mouth is. Um, and here's what he says. He says it's going to be the same mindset we've had. You can preach that and talk about that all the time, but I think there's another thing actually going and doing it, executing. That's what he's talking about, executing. It's just going to be a great experience for these guys to go through this, and we're looking forward to the challenge. I love what Matt LaFleur's approach to this game is. He's looking at it as like, hey, listen, we're up for the challenge. We're approaching it like we do any other week, because quite frankly, we've been in playoff mode, and put your money where your mouth is. Actions speak louder than words is what he's saying, and we're going to go out there and put some action to our words, and we're going to allow our play to speak volumes for us. So when we start talking Mike McCarthy, however, I think is just at a different level. So meaning like he's a little bit more of a head case. We know what Mike McCarthy historically with Green Bay Packers, what his coaching abilities have been. I think Mike McCarthy he's a good coach, but I think he outwears his welcome. And I think he's nearing that in Dallas. He is a good coach. They have a ton of talent around them. They've built a good team. This is a very good Dallas Cowboys team. But I think Mike McCarthy calls a predictable game, kind of like what we saw in Green Bay. Mike McCarthy's postseason record is 1-3. So he's looking to just get over that hump. But how does he approach this game? And like we talked about, just overall, Mike McCarthy, if you remember the last time that the Packers and the Dallas Cowboys met, the Cowboys were in Lambeau Field and they had a 28-14 lead going into the third quarter before they lost that one 31-28. Mike McCarthy was super frustrated. I remember that after the game. Let's see what this says right here. It says McCarthy was physically upset following that battle, meaning the 2022 game that they lost at Lambeau Field. And it was due to not only the fashion in which the Cowboys lost, but it also was very clear who they lost to, right? And this was Mike McCarthy's homecoming game. He was hoping for a better result. Didn't happen. He now wonders if his pregame approach to the matchup did the players a disservice, despite in the moment his belief that the opposite might have been true. He says right here, he's quoted as saying, "Last year I thought it was important to talk about Green Bay at the beginning of the week with the team. I regret it. That doesn't even need to come up into our energy base, but you live and learn. This game is about commitment, and it doesn't matter who you're playing." Here's what I mean by Mike McCarthy being a little bit of a head case. I still think he is thinking about Green Bay and just the fact that, the last time they met, they lost. He can't quite get over the hump. This is a team that Dallas Cowboys have lost to, over the last 20 years. They've lost once in the first round in a wild card position to the Green Bay Packers and then once in the second round. They just can't seem to get over that hump. And I think that is just looming over them. It's going to come down to coaching. And quite frankly, is Joe Barry going to be able to stop CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott? What a duo that is going to be. And then on the flip side, is Dan Quinn going to be able to stop Jordan Love and all the weapons that they've got there, Aaron Jones, etc.? But I think that Matt LaFleur is going to call a way better game than Mike McCarthy. And you look at, who did the Dallas Cowboys lose to this season? They lost to the Dolphins, a game that or a team that does a lot of misdirection. And I think the Green Bay Packers, you'll find, is going to be doing the same thing. They lost to the Bills earlier on in the season, I believe, when their old OC was there and just, airing it out. So I think the Packers could do a little bit of both, misdirection, airing it out. Something that they've had success doing, especially at the beginning. We saw at the beginning of that was versus the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving when they came out and just aired it out. And they've seemed to have done that a couple of times. Matt LaFleur just showing his trust in Jordan Love. Guys, leave your comments. Let me know what you think. I think the Packers are going to win this one because I think this, there's no pressure on the Packers. And there is a whole lot of pressure on this Dallas Cowboys to perform when, like I said, Mike McCarthy just can't seem to get over that hump, a team that just hasn't had a whole lot of success over the last 20 years in the playoffs. I think the Packers, with no pressure, I think they win this one. I think it's going to be a very close game. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments. Go Pack.